In this video right here, I'm going to show the absolute easiest way to do the Emperor of Time raid. Now, before going into this, I do recommend that you do have all the best stuff in the game: Solus, Release, Bind It, and Otherworldly. And, of course, the zeph. Right here, I'm showing off that I am, in fact, solo. Because before this, somebody said that EOT Hardcore is not possible solo, so this is just made to disprove that. This first part right here is pretty easy. What I recommend doing is, I'm using the best gear in the game, but I'm still using Calamity because I think that Havoc is a bit too risky near the end, and you'll see why. But right here what I do is I let him get to the edge. I walk away from him a bit so he gets to the edge of the circle. So that way you're able to attack him without taking massive damage. Right here, I'll play a little bit risky, but it's alright. And right here, I do some more damage. Right here my Calamity runs out and I didn't pay attention, but it's alright, you know, he's pretty much dead. So he's dead. And now we're going on to the second part. We just go up the stairs here. And now when you have Zeph 2, the thing is that your movement set is really good and it takes you really far really quick. So use it. Right here, my main tips for the first part of the actual boss is you don't have to worry about the big the big ball thing that goes down them red tracks. The thing you gotta be worried of those is small red circles that spawn on the floor right next to the boss, because they can deal massive damage very quick. And also avoid the big purple circles too, because once you get sucked into one of them, you're gonna take a lot of damage and you're not gonna be able to move unless you don't have any cooldowns on any of your moves with the Zephyr. So right here I stand on the edge of it because I won't get sucked in, and I wait a second till it disappears, and then I go back to attacking them. Red circle shows up, I wait for it to go away, then go back to attacking them. And when you do this solo, he goes into the second phase where you go into that darkish looking place, around 760 billion damage done. So now that we've finally done the first phase of Emperor of Time, we can move on to the second phase right here. You gotta give him a second for him to spawn in, but once he does, just head over to him and just activate Calamity and do the moves. He probably will move, so just keep track of where he's going. So basically just spam your attacks like so, and when he moves just follow him with the rune skill, which takes you really far really fast. And this is another thing too, whenever he throws out the yellow rings that come at you, just jump those, because if you don't pay attention they can do a lot of damage. And for the click attack too, I recommend if you're on PC use an auto clicker to get past them, because that makes it where you don't have to do that much. Also, them red circles that turn into blue circles, I recommend when you're near the boss and you're jumping to try and attack him. When it's red, you could probably stay near him, but when it's blue, try and get away from it a tiny bit where you can still attack him, but you're away from him. Right here, doing just fine. You know, he's down below 1 trillion now. Still doing the same thing, just jumping the yellow rings that come out. He moves, and I follow him. Calamity's still going. I do the attacks, you know, down to less than 3/4 of 1 trillion. Whenever it gets to this point in the raid where the red fidget spinner comes out and the yellow rings are going at once, I recommend trying to find the perfect timing to jump both of them at once, or trying to jump them separately by moving back and forth. This phase right here, when he throws out the big red circle, when the meteors start coming down, I recommend moving back and forth away from the boss, then back near him, because whenever these meteors hit you, they can deal a bit of damage, and if you don't pay attention, again, that damage can add up very fast without you knowing it. Okay, you wouldn't pay attention to that because you're too focused on the boss, so you'd probably take a lot of damage. It goes on for a little bit, but once the explosions stop, you can go back to attacking them like normally, just like before. And I forgot to mention, at around the 700 billion health mark is when he can actually do the attack where he flies up into the sky and does the beam attack. So it could happen the minute that ability can be done, or it could happen any time, or it could happen 0 times throughout the run. So right here's the first time he does it. Now I recommend getting further away from him when it happens, and then running sideways, you know, so you see the boss is like right in front. I recommend running left or right from the boss. So right here, just dodge the beam, ain't too hard. You're gonna tank the first couple of hits, but it's alright. And right here, he does it again, but it's the same deal. I see where he is, and then I just run from side to side to dodge the attacks easily. You don't want to run near the beam or else you're going to get killed easily. Then once I do that, he comes down, I turn on Calamity and end him. That's pretty much the raid summed up, and that's the end of the video. See ya.